I'm sweating like an American in a Squid Game cookie challenge. Korea's taken over my TV, my playlists, and now my nightmares. It's like a tsunami drowning Hollywood, and I'm just trying not to choke on this cookie. I'm Lunk, and he's Constantine. Tonight we're breaking down 5 films and shows, from old school to now, that explain how Korea went from zero to global hero.
Lunk, you're crumbling faster than that doggone cookie! South Korea's media machine didn't just rise. It stormed the gates of America with K-pop beats and Oscar gold. These 5 stories are the battle cries of a cultural empire, and it's all encapsulated in one word: Hallyu.
Hallyu what?
Hallyu, Lunk. It's the Korean wave, the global surge of South Korean culture. From K-pop and K-dramas to films and fashion. Starting in the late 90s, Korea's government and creators pushed their stories worldwide, blending bold storytelling with universal themes. It's not just entertainment, it's a cultural takeover that's got the world hooked. And since we're all learning new words today, here's another one to chomp on: Shiri.
Alright, we're kicking it back to 1999 with Shiri, a spy thriller that's like Die Hard meets James Bond, but Korean. North Korean assassins, South Korean agents, and a fish named Shiri. Yeah, it's weird, but it blew up in Asia. Made $27 million on a $5 million budget, outgrossing Titanic in Korea. This was the first big swing after Korea's 90s economic crash, when the government bet on movies to save the day.
Lunk! Shiri was Korea's war cry. After the 1997 Asian financial crisis left the economy in ruin, President Kim Je-gyu declared culture a key national industry. They didn't just pump cash into film. They built a fortress with policies like screen quotas, forcing theaters to show domestic films for a set number of days of the year. Shiri was the first blockbuster born from that strategy, proving a Korean film could look and feel as epic as any Hollywood production.
Okay, so Korea said, forget Titanic, we got spies and fish. But come on, man, it didn't hit America hard. People were still watching Matrix reruns in '99. Why does this matter?
Because, Lunk, it proves Korea could play the blockbuster game at home first. It gave investors the confidence to fund bigger projects and built the modern studio system from scratch. Shiri's success is the foundation on which every other film on this list was built. It was the protein shake that started the pump.
Fine, I'll give them their props. Global Flex rating, 1 out of 5. Fast forward to 2002 and Korea's dropping Winter Sonata, a K-drama about star-crossed lovers and amnesia. Classic soap opera stuff, but with Korean heart. This thing was a monster in Japan, making Bae Young-joon, I hope I'm saying that right, a freaking idol. It hit America later on cable and early streaming, getting housewives hooked on K-drama trios. Korea was like, yo, Asia loves us, let's go global.
Lunk, you sniffling already? Winter Sonata was Hallyu's secret weapon. In Japan, the frenzy was called Yon-sama fever. Lunk, considering the decades of political and cultural tension between Japan and Korea, a Korean drama becoming a beloved national phenomenon was revolutionary. It was a soft power masterstroke, launching $1 billion boom in tourist merchandise and Korean language classes. It proved Korean culture could bridge historical divides.
Bro, I ain't crying, it's just allergies. But yeah, this show got my mom learning Korean phrases like 사랑해. It's wild how it turned Japan into K-drama stans and got America curious. Still, too many tears for my gym vibes. Global Flex rating, 3 out of 5. Now we're talking. Oldboy in 2003, directed by Park Chan-wook, is a twisted revenge flick about a dude locked up for 15 years, then unleashed with a hammer. What could go wrong? Made $15 million on a $3 million budget, and it won awards at Cannes. This was Korea saying, we don't just do romance, we do dark, crazy, and badass. America's indie fans ate it up, and Hollywood tried to remake that flop harder than Spider-Man on Broadway.
Look, Oldboy's a cinematic uppercut. It wasn't a lucky punch. It was the peak of the Korean new wave. For the first time since the end of military dictatorship in the late 80s, directors had total creative freedom. They took the trauma and rage simmering under Korea's rapid, brutal modernization and turned it into visceral art. Oldboy's win at Cannes put this new generation of filmmakers on the global map. inspiring everyone from Tarantino to other directors worldwide.
Yo, that hallway fight had me hyped, like it's not leg day. But the ending? Bro, I needed a few weeks to recover. This flick's got America's film nerds buzzing and set the stage for bigger wins. Global Flex rating, 3 out of 5. 2019's Parasite, directed by Bong Joon-ho, this class war thriller about a poor family scamming the rich won Best Picture at the Oscars. First non-English film to do it, made $53 million in the US alone on an $11 million budget. America was shook, bro. Memes, debates, everybody talking about wealth gaps. Korea didn't just win, they planted their flag on Hollywood's grave.
Lunk! Parasite is the final boss of Hallyu. This wasn't an overnight success. It's the direct result of the 20-year national project that began with Shiri. Director Bong Joon-ho perfected his craft within that system. The film's theme of class inequality, while deeply Korean, resonated universally in a post-Occupy Wall Street world. The American distributor Neon ran a genius marketing campaign that sold it not as a foreign film, but as the film of the year, breaking the 1-inch tall barrier of subtitles.
Yo, I watched it twice and still don't get that basement, dude, but it hit harder than my max bench press. Korea's out here making Hollywood look like amateurs. Global Flex rating, 5 out of 5. And then came 2021, Squid Game. Bro, this show didn't just get popular, it broke the whole freaking internet. Green tracksuits were everywhere. Everyone I know was trying to make these Dolgana cookies. It became Netflix's biggest show ever, with like 1.6 billion hours watched. It wasn't a movie, it wasn't a show. It was a global event that you couldn't escape.
Squid Game is Hallyu's checkmate. It represents the perfect fusion of Korean creative genius and American streaming power. Netflix invested hundreds of millions in Korean content, and this was the ultimate payoff. While Parasite won over the critics, Squid Game conquered the masses directly. It used a culturally specific premise, childhood Korean games, to tell a brutally universal story about debt and desperation. The same themes as Parasite, but packaged for a global binge-watching audience.
So it's like Parasite with more murder and a giant killer doll? I'm in. But for real, how did it get so big?
The algorithm Lunk, it bypassed traditional marketing and was pushed directly to hundreds of millions of subscribers. Whether they watched foreign shows or not, it's the ultimate victory of Korean cultural strategy, creating high-quality content so compelling that it transcends language, borders, and subtitles. It's the final boss that Hollywood never saw coming.
Global domination rating, 5 out of 5. So Korea went from Shiri's spy shots to Oldboy's hammer drop, then smashed the Oscars with Parasite before shutting down the entire world with Squid Game. I'm out here dodging cookies and vibing to K-pop against my will. Korea's media machine didn't just rise, it drop-kicked America into submission.
Lunk, you're surfing the Korean wave and loving it! From government bets in the 90s to winning over critics and finally conquering global streaming, Korea turned stories into a superpower. It's the victory lap over Hollywood's corpse. But Lunk, this isn't an ending. This is just the beginning. The 5 things we talked about, we haven't even scratched the surface.
What do you mean, bro? What's bigger than a show that took over the planet?
We haven't even touched on the sprawling historical epics. The gritty zombie thrillers like Kingdom, Train to Busan, or the heartwarming slice-of-life dramas that have millions hooked. We didn't talk about the webtoon industry that's creating the IPs for the next 10 years of hits, the global obsession with K-food and mukbangs, or the multi-billion-dollar K-beauty industry that has redefined skincare worldwide. This wave is still building, bruh.